quote here. This is Jason Cole. Quote, of course, plenty of people wondered about Elway's resolve before he ultimately accepted the job Bolin laid out for him that night over dinner. Influential blogger Mike Florio of ProFootballTalk.com presented the naysayers case 2 days after news broke of the Bolin-Elway dinner. Denver Post at the time columnist Woody Page, now with the Colorado Springs Gazette, had written a column about the meeting and took extra effort to praise Elway's abilities and preparation. Florio took issue with that line of thought. This is Florio, quote, Page floats several possible titles for the longtime Broncos quarterback, VP of football operations, general manager, executive VP. Each implies a level of influence and responsibility that the candidate wouldn't merit if his name didn't rhyme with Smellway, Florio wrote. And then he goes on here to quote, does Jason Cole Page, quote, Page also pumps up, this is Florio going on, quote, Page also pumps up Elway's credentials, explaining that he was a hands-on owner of the Colorado Crush of the Arena League, and that Elway sat for hours with his late father, Jack, as he did the things a scout does. In our view, however, dabbling in scouting is no replacement for the grinding that scouts do as they acquire knowledge of the nuances that will allow them to make tough decisions once the scout climbs into a position of authority. And that remains our biggest concern. If Elway were suited to serve as an executive with an NFL team, he'd already be one. That's how the industry works. Though the job is less visible than the position of head coach, what Elway hopes to do is no less significant, and the situation should be viewed by Broncos fans as no less alarming. So this looks to be another case of a star athlete wanting to make a difference with his old team, mistakenly thinking that an ability to throw the football, unlike anyone else the organization has employed, translates into an ability to run the franchise. It doesn't. This is Mike Florio. And unless Elway has a hidden talent for scouting or untapped high-level business abilities otherwise honed by hardworking men and women during the years Elway was playing football, it's not going to work, close quote. So you look back on some of that stuff that was written, I would even say it's skeptical. I would say written almost like this dude had a bone to pick with John Elway. This guy didn't like John Elway. And you laugh, right? Because Elway in year one took what was a limping, destitute roster. And alongside, of course, the Broncos had a GM, Brian Zanders, for Elway's first 2 years. So Elway came in as the executive VP, learned the ropes of just kind of the inner workings of the front office. With Brian Zanders' help and the entire scouting department, they knocked it out of the park